we have a tremendous expert who's coming online now to talk to us about a little bit more about this digital supply chain stuff that we've talked about earlier in the program today, only because we're seeing so much movement there in terms of the life science industry, the healthcare industry working together, whether it's the hospital systems and the pharmacy systems or some of the manufacturing companies coming together and accelerating the virtualization and the digitization of their supply chains. And one of the leaders in the area is Dennis Groseclose, who's the president and CEO of TransVoyant, which is really the backbone of what we're seeing in the digitization of the supply chain. And I'll let Dennis give more of a background on what he's doing. But Dennis, maybe kick things off a little bit with what TransVoyant is and how it's transforming supply chain and life sciences.
Well, Stan, with only 10 minutes, I could really ruin the whole program. So I'll be super short.
Sounds good.
TransVoyant's been around for, a little bit over 10 years now. Really laser focused on pharmaceutical, life sciences, nutritional health customers around the globe. Also have some U.S. government customers as well in that area. And really we're focused on global end-to-end flow and decision-making in a new way across end-to-end supply chains, right? So in the old days, you'd buy vertical solutions for your warehouse and for planning and demand forecasting. And we lay on top of that and look at past, present, and future data. We stream our own data at ourselves and make predictions and interdictions and prevent things from happening in the supply chain. At a high level, that's what we do. It can run the gamut from running a huge distributor's distribution network to all the inbound flow and manufacturing into large pharmaceutical manufacturers. So we are blessed and thankful to have customers like Merck and McKesson and Convatec and DSM, which is a big European nutritional health company. And super happy to be here, Stan. Love what you guys are doing at HITLAB in Columbia. So anytime I can help, I'll help.
That's fantastic. I
expect you're going to ask me a bunch of questions and I got to try to pretend I know what I'm saying. So do the best I can.
Just do your best. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And the audience is a very diverse audience of healthcare system leaders and digital health funders and digital health startups. So your perspectives and insights on some of the key digital transformation strategies that you're seeing from your position of leadership in the system, and what do you see being implemented in those systems relative to, and within the pharmaceutical supply chain that's really affecting and impacting efficiency and resilience, which is more important than ever?
Having come up in the half of my life in the intelligence world and national security world, half in real supply chains, I'm actually starting to see big pharma and life science customers move to a place on their digital journey where they're looking across not just their, let's call them legacy systems, whether it's manufacturing, MES, or whether it's a transportation system or a warehouse system. They're trying to connect digitally to all their suppliers and contract manufacturers, all of their logistics service providers, which is kind of how we were born with these customers. And they're taking a holistic view as opposed to kind of let me optimize my warehouse and let me get the most yield out of manufacturing with high quality. They're pulling that data out. They're connecting to all these partners and devices that are proliferating. And then they're making decisions, using the buzzwords of AI and ML. And I'm not a buzzword guy, but that's what's going on. And then pushing those decisions back into the enterprise or the system to prevent and get ahead of problems. So predict a temperature excursion and get ahead of it. Predict when there's a route changing in real time that was planned so that instead it's going near a high theft area, right? Et cetera, et cetera. There's all kinds of use cases that are enabled once you take that holistic end-to-end approach to data and decision making. I guess the second one is kind of a knock on to that, which is customers are learning that they don't really need to buy these monolithic systems anymore. They can rapidly innovate now. So for the past 8 or 10 years, there's been improvements in technology and improvements in data across the world where you can rapidly innovate new kind of mini applications really fast. And instead of buying a particular vertical system, let's call it a WMS that has 100 features and you only need 4 of them, right? You can just quickly make those 4 features and keep on going. So it is slow because there's governance and there's Sarbanes-Oxley, and there's all kinds of systems that are in place that are systems of record. But it is starting to happen. A decision layer is coming on top of all those data and systems. Those are my 2.
No, that's big. And so when you start looking at partnerships and collaborations that are shaping the future of the pharmaceutical supply chain around the country, what and how are those being shaped? How are you seeing those come together? And what do you think the fruits of those will look like in 5 years, 10 years?
I wish this was non-attribution and nobody could write what I say, but I'll do the best I can, Stan. I'm a little grayer than a lot of folks. We have global customers, so it's quite a bit different globally, right? In the US, we don't see the economic incentives for the big players, right? A manufacturer, a distributor, a paying organization, a provider. The economic incentives aren't quite aligned where there's really good, as a supply chain guy, demand, supply, information sharing. Obviously, price and cost transparency is not great. It's a little bit different in Europe. We do a lot of work there. And I'm not here to advocate a political view or anything. I'm just saying it's different. And we happen to, be on all sides of that through what we do. We can see shortages at a certain distribution center, but the manufacturer doesn't know about. And today there's no incentive to and we can't, obviously, that's not how we do business, right? So at a high level, there's a lot of economic incentive issues with collaboration. That's the bad news. The good news is at each one of those kind of little ecosystem silos, there's great work going on between a manufacturer, a logistics service provider, some of these new technology companies, not so much legacy stuff, and being able to, and even like sensor and hardware providers, right? Think of, temperature excursions and theft and tamper. That's collaborating well in each of those works. So it's happening in distribution, it's happening in manufacturing. We don't do a ton, at the point of care. So I don't have a good view for you there yet, but we're working on it. So negative is economic incentives are, as you guys all know, a mess. Positive is, and they're starting to happen across the ecosystem. So logistics service providers, think 3PL, 4PL, and technology providers, and a manufacturer or a supplier to a manufacturer or manufacturer and its contract manufacturer are starting to collaborate really well. Part of that's just enabled with easier technology and data to help digitize those flows and behaviors. So
that's right. Well, this has been fantastic. And again, just Dennis, what you guys are doing, hats off to you. Really, it's important work and it's very solid. And we're excited to be collaborating with you guys and looking forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you for joining us.
You're making me blush, but thank you all.